Today, I will be showing you guys how you can actually be OTKing combo with the Imperialdramon Deck Profile updated for the BT9 format. Just before we get started with the video, I got something really cool to share with all of you guys. If you haven't watched our newest Battle of series with Mario, then be sure to check that out as well. In our latest Battle of X Record series, you will get to see me play the Alphamon X Antibody deck, putting it in action, and playing against Mario's Red X Antibody Omnimon deck. Come watch the epic clash of the Royal Knights to find out who comes out on top. Links will be left in the description box down below or the iCard on the top right here. Hello Digimon players and fans, welcome back to another new Digimon deck profile and in-depth building guide video. Imperialdramon is one of my favorite decks to play all time ever since I picked up Digimon. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you guys would know that I made a lot of Imperialdramon content. Overall, Imperialdramon actually hasn't changed too much ever since BT8. You can play practically the same build that I have for BT8 for BT9. However, this time I decided to come up with something very different compared to BT8. The truth is, I always really liked the first Imperialdramon Dragon mode that came out in BT3 or BT 1.5 for us in English. There are several reasons to why the deck holds a very special place for me, and that is because it is one of the very first decks that I picked up which really resonated with my playstyle. When I started playing Digimon for the first time, I played a lot of different decks, and this was actually the first deck that clicked with me immediately. But there's one thing that made it extra special, and that is that I took Imperialdramon to my very first DC1 Grand Prix tournament and end up placing top 32. Now I know top 32 is not like a huge bragging right or anything, but it was one of my biggest accomplishments ever since playing the Digimon card game. And not to mention that DC1 Grand Prix was the very first DC1 Grand Prix from last year. Other side notes is that I really like the artwork of the card, both the regular and the altar as well. With that being said, it is no surprise that I want to make a comeback with the BT3 Blue Imperialdramon. The card and combo is still actually very strong even today because it can make multiple swings. Of course, the Imperialdramon Starter deck that came out last format was game-changing, giving the deck a whole new playstyle with DNA Digivolution, and that is what you really want to focus on. So I asked myself this question: why don't we just combine both of it all together from the old and new Imperialdramon cores to make this brand new recipe here? This deck actually performed surprisingly well, and it can even go for OTK combos, which the most current Imperialdramon that focuses on DNA Digivolving couldn't even pull off. And not to worry, we got a fully in-depth combo segment to show you guys how to pull it all off, and you definitely don't want to miss out on that. But let's begin with the deck profile first. Okay, let's begin with Digi cards. 4 Demi Vmons is all I need. You guys seen a lot of my Imperial deck profiles. I just really much prefer the consistency of just the 4 copies of Demi Vmon. We do jamming a lot in this deck, so much more than the regular Imperial, so getting that extra draw is just really good, and I just don't want to run a 5th egg to ruin the consistency overall, and that's really it for Demi Vmon there. Best egg for the deck. Let's start with our rookies. Let's talk about Labramon first. Now, I really like Labramon, and like I mentioned, we do a lot more jamming in this deck than the regular Imperialdramon actually does, so gaining that extra memory and having it in a 4 of is my absolute priority, and I just really like Labramon in general to help us give more memory and do more combos that way too. So hold on for a second, I got a quick question for you guys. Do you guys know that there's actually going to be even more brand new Imperialdramon support coming out in EX3? The new cards that are going to be coming out are so cool, because they're going to be in colors of both red and purple to represent the dark and evil version of Imperialdramon. And I simply can't wait for it to come out and try it and make a deck profile for it as well. And if you guys are also huge fans of Imperialdramon, you guys know what you gotta do? Well, that is to subscribe and turn on that notification bell right now so that you guys will always know that any updated Digimon videos that I do come out live, and you guys will be able to stay tuned as soon as that video comes out live as well. But also give this video a like because it just really helps in general. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the video. Next, let's talk about our Vmons. We have the starter deck, Imperialdramon starter deck VMon here, allowing us to search, grab a free, super crucial. Again, I want to find my combo pieces as soon as possible with this card, which is why hard playing this card is always super valuable and super crucial, so you can find the perfect pieces you need to build your stack and towards to go for your combos later on. Next, we got 3 copies of the good old jamming VMon. The reason why I opted in for more copies of this VMon is partially, like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of jamming. This is partially the contribution to that jamming as well. But not only that, there's actually a really cool classic combo that I want to showcase you guys later in the combo segment to explain why this jamming VMon in particular, having more copies of it, can potentially give you more value and really good aggressions to finish games as well later on. Last but not least, 2 copies of the EX1 VMon. Here we do quite a lot of unsuspending in this deck as well, so having that inheritable of gaining 1 memory once per turn when we do is just really good too. That's it for all of our level 3s and our rookies. Let's talk about our level 4s. Very standard package. You guys will probably always see that you definitely must play 4 copies of XVmon from EX1 as well as the Stingmon from the starter deck Imperialdramon 2. Really crucial because you just want to use these 2 cards to get into your Paildramon combo for DNA Digivolution. We still play that kind of package, and yeah, just one of the best ones to have. Now, there's a little bit change when it comes to level 4, because now I actually only play 1 Lydramon. Now, Lydramon is actually really good because it does fulfill the dual color conditions, and we do a lot of dual color stuff, but not as much in this current build anymore. And the reason why I have to bump down to 1 Lydramon is because I do want to see 2 Lobomons instead. Lobomon is actually much more crucial in this deck. There's some scenarios where I just need that extra push and that extra check. And in this particular build, and in this case, I actually want to see Lobomon a bit more than I actually do for Lydramon. However, if you guys have a different preference, you can definitely opt in for 2 Lydramons and 1 Lobo instead. But as you guys play test this deck, you guys will actually figure out why Lobomon is 2 copies is more important than it really is. Alright, that's it for our level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s. We of course must play the Paildramon from the Imperialdramon starter deck. The middle one is the alt art, which you can get by participating in the most recent 2022 regionals. And I actually even made a video covering all the amazing alt arts from this particular pack, so you guys definitely want to check that out as well. Really cool stuff there. But anyways, first and foremost, you guys might be really alarmed because there's only 3 copies. Now let me explain. The deck space for level 5s is extremely tight for this particular build. And not to mention, part of my core combo isn't as focused on this Paildramon as it used to anymore, because we have to diverge a little bit with a different combo as well. And there's only so much room that we can fit the 3 copies of. So that's really it. But once again, this card is the best card of the deck. Definitely the boss Digimon. I would say you always want to be DNA Digivolving along with our XVmon and the Stingmon together. Spin something back with that 6000 DP or less back to the bottom of your opponent's deck, and it can unsuspend multiple times, do multiple checks, which is so good. But anyways, that's it for the Paildramon here. We all know why it's really good, but now let's show you guys the OG Paildramon. We play 3 copies of this one. This one has built-in jamming itself. It gives the best inheritable to your top end, allowing you to unsuspend, which is really good as well. And yeah, this card is just super strong. Now, to round up for the level 5s, I do have the 1 copy of Chimeramon. I do always like to have at least 1 copy of this card just so I can make some more diverse plays when I need to. Really cool stuff. I can even potentially, slide in a Paildramon that provides the inheritable, the one from BT3, which is really nice for some certain combos as well. Now, however, if you guys don't like Chimeramon and just really want to prioritize on your DNA Paildramon instead, then go for the 4 copies of that and not play Chimeramon at all. Juggle around and with your ratios and sort of play around what you guys are most comfortable with. But that's it for the level 5s. Level 6s. We got the OG BT3 Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, the one that's blue, the one that suspends on Digivolution with anything that has jamming, which is really good. It can Digivolve for 3 on top of any Paildramon because it reduces the cost by 2. And this is our core combo. This is our top end combo that we actually want to focus on instead. Just so you guys know, we don't play any of the newest Imperialdramon Dragon Mode from that starter deck because this is the star of the show today instead. And I just really miss this card. This card is just super cool, super good, and I have a lot of sentimental value when I play with this, and which is why I want to bring this card to your attention more for today. But yeah, 3 copies is what you want to need, and you always want to be doing your unsuspending combo, which we will talk about later on once again. But Just because we're going OG doesn't mean we don't like new stuff. We definitely still like new stuff. Here we have 2 copies of the fighter mode, and fighter mode is still really good for this deck because you can still digivolve for 2 on top of your dragon mode. Keep in mind, it does work for the blue one as well, and you can do some crazy unsuspending combos, multiple swings. Another really nice way to top end into your level 6s. Fighter mode, I always treat it as like a pseudo level 7, but not only that, with the level 6s, we do move into our level 7s. We do have the 2 copies of Blitz Omni for game. The reason why this card is so good is because if you think about it, you can digivolve this on top of your dragon mode or your fighter mode as well as a level 7 and make an extra final swing when you need to. And that's just really useful and super handy. And you do often enough do want to use your Omnimon Blitz for game. And I do want to see it enough, which is why 2 copies is super crucial because it does help you steal games and win games and secure games. And that's really important for this deck. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about Tamers. Here I have 2 copies of Davis and 2 copies of Davis Ken. 2 copies of Davis for searching, for memory tamer, you guys know it. And then Davis Ken, really good, extra memory, doing even more combos with unsuspending when we digivolve into a double color Digimon, which does happen, and it is going to be really important in our combo segment as well. But that's the 2 tamers I need to run, and that's all we need. Let's talk about options now. 3 Hammer Sparks. Hammer Spark is always great, as along with the Ice Wall package. Both in security effect can really help you a lot when it comes to the defense mechanism. Hammer Spark super versatile, giving you extra memory to make more plays. Ice Wall super defensive, buying yourself an extra turn is just always really good. We know that the package we must have. For more defensive capabilities, 2 Mega Defs, really crucial. I know a lot of you guys feel like you might want to play 3 or even 4 copies in this current format. However, once again, deck space is extremely tight. So therefore, I would always recommend at least playing a 1 or 2 of if you can and make room for it. And Megadef is Megadef. Then I have 1 blue memory boost, always a very nice tech just for extra searching. I always like to treat it as like a rookie because you can play it in the early stages of the game, search for pieces you need, and provide you a lot of value with its delay extra 2 memory afterwards as well. Last but not least, you guys know HPD, really extremely strong card for this deck. You have to play this card no matter what because it helps you extend your combos, make crazy plays, and yeah, this card singly alone can help you win games as well. Alright guys, that will wrap up for the deck profile and all the 50 cards I'm going to play in the main deck. Today a little bit something different. I don't really have any other alternative cards I want to suggest because this build is very particular and it's just super niche in terms of what it's trying to do and its game win condition. So let's jump straight into our combos, and I'm super excited to showcase you guys this because this is an potential OTK combo right here. And since this is a so-called OTK meta, this Imperialdramon can actually pull off an OTK combo with 5 checks, 6 swings to finish the game in 1 single turn. Let's show you guys how it works. So of course you want to be hatching your egg, digivolving really ideally your Labramon in the early stages of your game if you can pull it off, and then you want to be digivolving to level 4 into XVmon. Now it doesn't really matter too much which level 4 you can get into, XVmon or Stingmon, whichever is always really nice. But in this case, let's just say XVmon instead because it does come up and becomes really important. You want to finish off with this Paildramon, the classic good old Paildramon there. It does require a little bit of setup, but you do have quite a bit of time in this meta because things are actually slowing down a little bit even though it is OTK. And there is time because all you really need is a Davis and then Davis Ken. Now, once you're ready, your opponent passes you and you want to start your turn with 3 memory, especially with the Davis. Once you're ready to go, you move this up and then you gain a memory because of Davis and Ken. At the start of your main phase, you do have a blue Digimon right here. So all you have to do straight off with the Paildramon classic combo right here, just swing with jamming. And because you swung with jamming, Labramon will give you a memory and you get to draw a card with DemiVmon. Next up, you would then pay 3 memory to digivolve Paildramon into the good old BT3 Imperialdramon Blue Dragon mode right here. Now, the reason why you can digivolve for 3, it's simply because when you digivolve on top of a Paildramon, you get to reduce the digivolution cost by 2, so you only pay 3 memory. And then the second effect is when digivolving, you unsuspend all of your Digimon that has jamming. So he unsuspends himself at this moment. Next, what you want to do is then you swing again with this dragon mode. Now, this time you use Paildramon's inheritable to unsuspend it here. and then you get to use that once per turn. So that's 2 checks so far, and then you swing in once again. So that's 3 checks. Now you should only have 2 memory left. What you then do is pay the 2 remaining memory to go into your fighter mode. Now, this is why having the Davis Ken is extremely crucial for this combo, because now you need to suspend your Davis Ken so you can unsuspend your fighter mode at this point. Your fighter mode will get to bounce something. However, because in this particular case, this is why the XVmon inheritable comes in very useful, because fighter mode actually no longer has jamming itself, and the XVmon will give it the jamming. On the other hand, if you have Stingmon instead, it'll give you the draw 1, and then you can utilize the fighter mode's effect to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon when attacking. However, in this case, we don't. So we're really just about mad swinging. We swing in with fighter mode again. Fighter mode's effect will unsuspend because there's a blue source. So that's 4 checks. And then you swing in once more again. That's 5 checks. That's 5 security gone. And this is why you finish off with Omnimon right here. Omnimon is level 7. Imperialdramon fighter mode is a blue level 6. You pass your opponent to 4, and you finish the game with 6 attacks in total. That's the OTK combo of this deck. Now, there's one really important thing that I do want to bring up to you guys, because there's quite a misconception when it comes to the combos of Paildramon's Inheritable along with Imperialdramon's Fighter Mode. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, oh, you can actually just Digivolve your Fighter Mode on top of a Paildramon right here, swing with Fighter Mode, unsuspend with Fighter Mode's effect, and then swing again, and then have Paildramon's effect, this time inheritable, to unsuspend once more, and you can do a lot of checks that way. However, just so you guys know, unfortunately, you cannot do that, because the rule is that when you swing in with Imperialdramon Fighter Mode's effect will both trigger along together at the same time with Paildramon. And because they're both mandatory effects, one of them will actually end up fizzling, so that you can only resolve one unsuspending effect once. And that is a very important ruling that you must keep in mind when you do go for it, which is why the first combo I show you guys is very particular, where you do need to go into your dragon mode first before anything does. So then you're resolving your effects correctly in order so you don't miss any timing, nothing gets really fizzled. Now, for the other combo, which some of you guys who have played Imperialdramon back in BT3 and BT4, you guys would know this really cool classic combo that you can pull off. And this is why having 3 copies of the original jamming Vmon comes in real handy. So again, this is what your board would set up to look like. You have 3 memory. This time you actually don't need the Davis and Ken. You just need 3 memory. You would swing in with Vmon with jamming, that's 1 check. You swing with the Paildramon, that's 2 checks. And then you would Digivolve it for 0 to go down to 0, for 3 to Digivolve into Dragon Mode. Now remember, Dragon Mode's when Digivolving effect unsuspends all your Digimon that has jamming, meaning that this Vmon will unsuspend here. Next, you can now swing for another check. That's 3 checks in total. And then you would swing with the Dragon Mode here. That's 4 checks. Effect to unsuspend with Paildramon's Inheritable here. Swing in once more, and that's 5 checks. And then, like always, another really cool OTK combo. You can finish it off with passing your opponent to 4 with Blitz Omni if you have right here, which is another really cool way to do 5 checks and finish off the game in one single turn, which actually is like another OTK combo here. Okay, so the final last combo I want to show you guys is not another OTK combo, but it's fairly close. You can actually do 5 swings in one turn. So let's just say in a scenario early in the game, you have a rookie and you were able to chip your opponent down to 4 security, and 4 security sets up for this combo. And then let's just say you had the Vmon, it just got deleted somehow, and you want to be building with your DNA combo this time, the good old DNA, not good old DNA, but the brand newer DNA combo. Of course, you want to have XVmon ready to go in your raising here, and then of course you want to have Stingmon ready in your hand as well. Davis and Ken may not be as crucial, but you do need it for an extra memory somehow. So let's just say during the play, you either have Hammer Spark or whatever. That will be really nice. You start your turn at 3, which is always ideal. You go straight into your XVmon right here, and then you gain the extra memory because of Davis and Ken at the start of your main phase. Now what you want to do is you want to swing in with XVmon. XVmon Labramon will gain you a memory, and then DemiVmon draw a card. Now you pay the 3 memory to go into Stingmon. We know this combo, super familiar with it. We're super good at the DNA stuff here at this point. So you DNA into Paildramon. Now Paildramon will reset all the inheritables, which is very nice, and comes out unsuspended. Spin something that's 6000 DP to the bottom of your opponent's deck, and then you swing in here. Paildramon will effectively unsuspend with jamming again, gain a memory here, and then you get to draw 2, 1 for Sting and 1 for DemiV. Next up, you swing in here once again. So that's 3 checks in total so far. Next, Now you have 3 memory at this point, like I mentioned, which is why you either want to have Davis or Ken or Hammer Spark or something that can just give you 1 extra memory during that turn will really help extend this play further. Because now you got 3 memory, you can pay the 3 memory to Digivolve it into the good old classic Dragon mode right here. This is why the classic Dragon mode is so good in this particular combo, because if you have the new Dragon mode instead, you're going to have to pay 4 memory. And that's a lot to pay, but this one helps you continue to maintain your turn and make extra swings. Because once again, you only need to pay 3 memory because you're Digivolving on top of Imperialdramon, so you reduce the cost by 2. Imperialdramon Dragon Mode effect of when Digivolving will unsuspend itself at this point. Now you can make another 1 more check here at this point. So like I said early in the game, if you were able to chip your opponent 1 security, all you need in the early game, they should be at 0 security at this point, assuming they didn't recover. So once again, now you pay the 4 memory and finish it off with Omnimon right here. This is why, again, Blitz Omni is super crucial, and this is the reason why I actually need to bump it up to 2 copies instead of playing the regular one that most people do. But yeah, guys, this is all the combos I have to showcase with you today. This is extremely fun. So many cool combos you can actually pull off in this deck, and this is why I love playing the Imperialdramon Dragon mode, especially with the classic version as well. That will conclude for my very own deck building strategy and in-depth guide for the Imperialdramon Deck Profile video, specializing in the BT3 version. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Overall, I am super happy with the outcome of this deck. It performed extremely well and up to my expectations. The OTK potential of it is super insane. It catches so many of my opponents off guard because they don't expect it from an Imperialdramon deck at all. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, 100% that I will be covering even more Imperialdramon content coming down in the future. So once again, if you guys can't wait for that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is Vault, signing out.